Take control of business fuel expenses with P Fleet's Voyager Fleet Card.
Dad, I want to get married.
That's sweet, but with who?
Grandma, she loves me.
Buddy, that's my mom. You can't marry my mom.
Why not? You married mine. Dad, I want to get married.
That's sweet, but with who?
Grandma, she loves me.
Buddy, that's my mom. You can't marry my mom.
Why not? You married mine. Dad, I want to get married.
That's sweet, but with who?
Grandma, she loves me.
Buddy, that's my mom. You can't marry my mom.
Why not? You married mine.
Alright, at least I noticed that. Okay. How the hell do you do that? Do you do that? I've been trying to get a PC. How much? This seems interesting.
It is creating an antidote to save Morty's life.
Oh, you're dying. It's a miracle.
This is Rick's one-of-a-kind spaceship, his cruiser, his alien steel steed. It can do all sorts of cool stuff, like here it is creating an antidote to save Morty's life.
Oh, you're dying. It's a miracle they were able to fling one this far out before they slithered into extinction.
Or here's the time his ship towed an entire planet.
Rick never lets me do this.
And who can forget the time when it brokered a peace deal between humans and giant spiders? Towed an entire planet. Pretty nifty, huh? Trust me, his ship does a lot more than that. But how does it work, I hear you say? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to be going through Rick's most famous tech to get to the bottom of it, starting with a closer look at the spaceship itself. So Rick's ship is kind of like his Swiss Army knife. It can do pretty much anything you ask it to. But before we get into the stuff it can do and how it does it, let's take a look at the first time we saw the ship in action.
What do you think of this flying vehicle, Morty? I built it out of stuff I've...
Dang, it really looked like a flying trash can back then, didn't it? Sure, it's a little basic, but hey, it can fly, and it can fly in space, too.
Learning to fly this thing, Morty, is going to be really liberating. You know, you're going to be free to go on all kinds of errands for me.
Cool.
See that planet right there? Don't fly too close to that planet.
But how does Rick's ship manage to fly through space? Spoiler alert, it's not with gas. Rick's ship has something called a warp drive engine. The stuff allows it to go wicked fast through space. And for fuel, it's actually a hybrid. Part of the engine is powered by something called concentrated dark matter. You know, the stuff the Zygerians wanted from Rick way back in Season 1. And the other fuel source is Rick's multiverse battery. That's the thing that helps the car run smoothly, but also powers the super cool tech, the AI systems, and all that.
Summer, remember? Keep Summer safe, buds?
I am aware of your existence.
Oof.
I got this defense system offline.
Not just an AI system, though. A sassy AI system. Basically, inside that battery is a whole civilization that's working hard to power Rick's ship, even if they don't know it.
Being revisited by the alien known as Rick, who once gave our world the gift of Googlebox technology, which, when stomped on, generates electricity, powering our homes and businesses, improving our daily lives, while safely removing the dangerous waste power to a special disposal.
Yeah, that waste power is what keeps the light on in the ship. Combining both the electricity from the multiverse battery with the concentrated dark matter allows Rick to travel at the speed of light. From the battery alone, he's creating a planet's worth of energy 24/7, so it's hardly a surprise the ship can tow whole planets like we saw earlier. But what this also allows the ship to do is warp space around the vehicle. So imagine it like a constant propellant. If you warp or squeeze space as the machine moves through it and space snaps back into place, it acts as a catapult almost, allowing the ship to even travel faster than light. Somehow. Now, while
Crazy.
that's not all possible in real life, you gotta remember this is Rick Sanchez we're talking about. So now we know how Rick managed.
Okay. This ship is weird.
It's just a blast from one side of the galaxy to the other, but how exactly does he defend himself if he needs to? What sort of weaponry has the ship got? Well, let's show you some of its defensive capabilities, like, say, this disintegrator ray. Or this machine gun turret. As well as this laser cannon. I'm sure I don't need to explain how a machine gun works, but as for the other two, they're kind of different flavors of the same sort of thing. The laser cannon is essentially a beam of light that is generated with immense power. You know how when you use a magnifying glass to increase the power of sunlight? Well, imagine that multiplied by 100,000. The light has so much power behind it that when it hits other atoms, the effect is thermal. So thermal that it'll burn and rip through cell walls. Which is why we see laser guns or blasters in a lot of shows, because theoretically they're 100% guns. As for the disintegrator ray, this is a far more advanced and concentrated version of the cannon. The power needed is pretty off the scale, but then again, this is Rick. This sort of weaponry is pretty basic though compared to the best bit of defense this ship is capable of, and believe it or not, it's actually thanks to its AI system.
Chip, keep Summer safe.
Keep Summer safe.
Basically, Rick and Morty have had to travel into the ship's battery as there's a few problems in multiverse battery land. And in the meantime, Summer has been left in a world of darkness where humans and giant spiders live together. So how is an inanimate object going to keep her safe?
What, you think you're better than me? Nobody's better than me! Hey!
Keep Summer safe.
Oh yeah, that's how. It's not a one-time thing either, because this ship is taking the whole keep Summer safe thing to the extreme.
Daughter's pediatrician!
No! Stop! Don't kill him!
Confirmed.
Oh God, I can't feel my legs. Help! Help!
Summer is safe.
I don't feel safe.
So the ship has multiple laser-ended tentacles with the capacity to not only slice and dice someone, but surgically pinpoint parts of their body to leave them unable to walk. Rick's AI update is crazy, but Summer is sick of the violence and demands the ship to stop.
Hurt anybody!
Confirm custom defense protocol. Keep Summer safe. No physical force.
Yes.
Processing.
It's not just anatomy it can pinpoint. Rick's ship also knows how to hit you where it hurts emotionally. Just ask this armed officer who recently lost a 7-year-old boy after he sadly drowned. Yeah, this next bit is dark.
Daddy?
Oh my God. Hunter?
Daddy?
What the hell?
Jesus Christ, ceasefire! Stay back! Hunter?
Daddy?
Hunter!
But the ship isn't trying to fix families, it's trying to keep Summer safe, so this happens.
I'm sorry, it was all my fault, I'm sorry.
Daddy? Leave the car alone.
What?
Leave the car alone.
Hunter? Go!
Oh my God.
Stay here, Hunter, no!
Ooh, that's very psychological torture.
I I did say it was dark. Bro, the way the ship managed to recreate Hunter so effectively is thanks to its internet database, which had a picture of Hunter from a local newspaper. It probably used the AI system to do a 2D scan, convert that into 3D before imposing Hunter's likeness onto a decoy. Maybe I'm overthinking things a bit. I'm not sure what stuff Hunter was made out of, but I'm guessing it's some sort of malleable organic matter that Rick can use to morph or create anything. Maybe it's even the start of Operation Phoenix, which we'll get to that later. Also, I know it's not exactly the time or place, but just pointing out the ship also has a built-in speaker system so it can project sound out of it. Like, it'd be weird if it didn't have that with all the other things it has.
You have loved ones. All can be returned. All can be taken away. Please step away from the vehicle. Keep Summer safe.
Anyway, there we have it, right? That's the ins and outs of one of Rick's finest inventions. Honestly, you can do a hell of a lot more, but we'd probably be here for half a year talking about all the gadgets it had, so that's enough of ship talk for now. Time to move on to a whole different type of invention, the Meeseeks box. When we first see the gadget in action in the episode Meeseeks and Destroy, when the Smith family are bugging Rick to help them with stupid stuff like opening the mayonnaise.
This is a Meeseeks box. Let me show you how it works. You press this. I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! You make a request. Mr. Meeseeks, open Jerry's stupid mayonnaise jar. Yes, sirree! The Meeseeks fulfills the request. All done! Wow. And then it stops existing.
So how does a box like that work? Well, there's no real answer, but I'm going to try to get into the headspace of Rick Sanchez here. Creating a device that spawns living things certainly isn't out of the window for him, but to make it make a little more sense in my human mind anyway, I think Rick uses something called claytronics, or programmable matter. Basically small nanobots that can create a synthetic but real-looking life form. It is very Rick to create a machine that summons sentient single-use life forms to do innate tasks. I mean, this is coming from a guy who invented the butter-passing robot.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
We also know the
Why do you
Meeseeks
make
aren't
a
exactly
statement
realistic
like
in their anatomy either, as when they're
how to
cussed,
use
they
it?
seem to leak a white, almost fluffy fluid, so that's
Smart.
another tick in the nanobot box. That programmable part is also why they're so keen to finish their task and disappear. It's literally in their code. Which is why when Jerry makes them try and fix his golf game, they get pretty irritable when he won't listen to them.
You know what, Mr. Meeseeks? I don't think this is working. I give up.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but it doesn't work like that. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. I have to fulfill my purpose so I can go away.
And after a certain amount of time out of the box, they become super crazy to the point they start spawning more and more of themselves until a rebellion breaks out. A rebellion that wants to kill Jerry.
Be done. We'll never get 2 strokes off this game. No, we won't. But we will get all strokes off this game. When we kill him.
So I'm just gonna hedge my bets here and say these guys are made from nanobots with some sort of AI integration, and from Rick's ship earlier, we know he's no stranger to that. Seeing as Rick's using tech this sophisticated, it also makes sense as to why he wants the Meeseeks to disappear after they completed a task.
Ooh, nice.
Think about it, he doesn't want this tech falling into the wrong hands, especially when the tasks he wants them to complete are so basic. That also makes sense too. Rick would rather leave the hard stuff for himself and anything that's mind-numbingly boring, well, the good old Meeseeks can sort all that out. Like I said, it's probably a bit of a stretch. Maybe there's some other cool thing Rick's got going on with the box, but that's my theory on how it works anyway. Our next 2 pieces of tech come from the same episode, and that's the classic Season 1 episode, Lawnmower Dog. The first piece of kit I'd like to take a look at is the cognition amplifier Rick whips up for the Smith family dog, Snuffles. I know he's a dog and all, but Snuffles isn't the brightest of bulbs.
Outside? Are you kidding me? Come on!
After seeing Snuffles take a whiz on the carpet, Jerry asks Rick to make something for him to make him smarter, or at the very least, make him go outside to do his business. That stuff is child's play for Rick, and he's got something made in seconds.
Snuffles, shake. Roll over. Go to the bathroom.
No way.
Hello.
Yeah, you're at the top of your game now, Jerry.
This device is super similar to something we have today, known as the electroencephalogram helmet. It's a brain activity monitor, and while it doesn't change an animal's brain power just yet, there's hope that one day we can use them in combination with AI to do just that. But giving a dog brain power like that will come with consequences. Knowing that he needs to upgrade Rick's kit to get through to his family, Snuffles starts getting to work, making big changes to the tech.
Understand Snuffles now?
That is awesome.
Snuffles want to be understood. Snuffles need to be understood.
Okay, that's not freaky at all. I imagine, considering it's running off of one battery at the start of things, that Rick has made the machine in such a way where it's super energy efficient, because something this powerful should need a hell of a lot more energy. So all Snuffles has to do is put another battery or two in, and the helmet should double his brain bandwidth. But while he's upgrading, Snuffles notices that the world order hasn't been kind to dogs, so he upgrades even more, wanting to put a stop to the way humans treat his kind.
Testicle Summer, they were removed. Where have they gone?
Oh, wow. That's an intense line of questioning, Snuffles.
Do not call me that. Snuffles was my slave name.
From now on, Snuffles wants to be known as Snowball, because his fur is pretty and white. He starts spreading Rick's upgraded tech to other dogs as soon as Advanced Dog Army takes over the world. Don't stop Jerry from trying to be a hero, though. Maybe they should give him some of that brain-improving tech.
See that? I'm peeing all over your special guns. That means I own them.
Bad person. Bad.
We'll get to how the army of dogs were overthrown in our next tech segment, but for now, I'm going to talk you through how the cognition amplifier could work. Obviously, we don't have anything that high-tech fancy today, otherwise we'd all have canine overlords, but Rick has something up his sleeve to battle back against the mutts. His Dream Inceptor. Basically, Rick's been going a little overboard with the adventures lately, and Morty's been missing a ton of school. If Morty doesn't get at least semi-good grades, Beth and Jerry have told Rick he can't take Morty on any more adventures. So, he's invented something called the Dream Inceptor, and their plan is to go into the dreams of Morty's math teacher, Mr. Goldenfold, and manipulate his dreams in such a way that it'll give Morty an A.
Rick, I can't believe we're sitting around standing around in Mr. Goldenfold's house. It's really weird. It's about to get a whole lot weirder, Morty.
But how does something like this work? Well, obviously there's nothing like this on Earth yet, but what I imagine Rick's device does is real-time dream decoding. That's so the Inceptor knows where it can put you within the dream, because it's not going to just transport you somewhere where you'll instantly die. Like in Goldenfold's dream, they're in a plane.
Wheat Thins. Wheat Thins?
I'll take 2. Now imagine what would have happened if they were just dropped on top of the plane instead of inside it. Then you need something that links the brains together. Rick's got multiple Inceptors that are all wirelessly linked, and it uses the main host, or in this case Goldenfold, to project the dreams into his and Morty's minds. Sounds pretty simple, but this is something we couldn't even dream of doing in real life. You'd need a supercomputer the size of Saturn to even think about decoding dreams in real time, so it just goes to show how smart Rick Sanchez is. Now all Rick's got to worry himself about is the whole dogs taking over the world thing, but this is where the Dream Inceptor comes in handy again. The family is taken hostage by Snowball, but while he's asleep, Rick uses it to change his mind about enslaving the human race.
It's pretty bad, Emperor Snowball. We're gonna need to do another operation.
Anything. Anything for my precious Morty.
Sir, as your accountant, I must advise you that these medical expenses are putting you in serious financial jeopardy. You could lose your kingdom.
Seeing Morty, the only human that ever cared about him, on death's door, Snowball realizes that fighting back against humanity just makes dogs as bad as humans.
Humans' health and happiness.
Do you think they would have done this for us?
We are not them. We are not them.
So when he wakes up with the help of Rick, Snowball sends all the super smart dogs to a new planet to colonize and make their own.
The Society of Intelligent Dogs. One that will not make the same mistakes as humanity. And one where pet insurance will be mandatory.
So that's how Rick Sanchez invented a machine for animals far beyond our tech, with a Dream Inceptor that's far, far beyond our tech. He really does make you feel like an ant. But he's also super petty. And there's no better example of that than the next invention on our list, Rick's Curse Detector. It's from the time Summer got a job at this vintage thrift store that's being run by a suspiciously satanic man.
So what are you, like the devil?
What? Sorry?
I don't know. Store comes out of nowhere, all the shit's old and creepy. Are you the devil? A demon? Leprechaun?
Rick called it straight. Yeah, that guy's the devil, and his shop sells an assortment of cursed knickknacks. He even gives one to Rick.
Then perhaps you could make use of this. This microscope reveals things beyond comprehension.
When Rick takes it home to study it, though, he finds out all about its cursed properties.
Exist, and if so, can one detect and measure it? Rhetorical question, Morty. The answer's yes, you just have to be a genius. Cute. Your sister's boss gave me a microscope that would have made me retarded.
So this machine right here is Rick's makeshift curse detector. I think it works kind of the same way. If you hold your phone at a tomato, it'll show you images of tomatoes or recognize the item. So Rick told his machine that this is what the properties of a microscope are, and when it scans it, instead of it just being a bog standard scientific instrument, it picks up that something was way off. I think somewhere Rick probably respects the devil for trying to make him dumb, but what he can't get over is the fact Summer starts choosing the devil over him. So to hit back at him, Rick makes a curse detector to expose goes and ruin his store.
Love this. It detects and catalogs all your Twilight Zone, Ray Bradbury, Friday the 13th, the series voodoo crap magic.
I guess once the prototype was built in the garage, Rick managed to easily streamline his invention, a handheld device, again like your phone. Not only does Rick use it to show potential customers the danger of the gifts, he also uses it to open his own store to turn the devil's stuff into items that could change people's lives for the better.
Sneakers to make him run faster, but guess what? He would have had to run until he died, making them worthless. I removed the curse, making them worth like, I don't know, $8 million? See you at the Olympics.
That doesn't last, of course, and Rick soon got bored. I mean, he's got a lot of other inventions rattling around in his mind, right? But have any of them caused as much trouble as the next one on our list? When you travel with Rick, there's all sorts of disturbing stuff you're gonna wind up seeing. And when you're a 14-year-old kid, that stuff can really mess with you. So that's why Rick invents a memory playing helmet for all the memories he's had to take out of Morty's mind.
Asking you to remove memories since the first time your mind was blown. Ah, here it is. Classic. There's no dust on it because this isn't the first time we've done this.
What? So the way it works is Rick straps a helmet on you and he clicks a vial into the center of the helmet and it'll play the removed memory right into your brain. Like this.
Like collects living beings? Yeah, you know, like commemorative plates, but less off-putting. You'll get it when you're still actively dating in your 40s. Assess this with cold indifference, you veiny-headed...
Rick takes them out for different reasons. Some memories are scary, some are embarrassing, but some memories are about him.
We should never take things for granted. What? I'm just saying, life's short. We shouldn't take things for granted. Are you saying granite? Well, yeah. It's granted! With a D! Take things for granted!
Come on, Rick, did you really need to wipe Morty's memory for that? Now, believe it or not, this is one of Rick's inventions that might actually be a thing of reality one day. In the real world, we can already decode rough brain activity into even rougher sketches, so there will no doubt be a time where we can decode memories. As the episode unfolds, the pair end up wiping their entire memories of each other and have to watch all the memories back to remember who they are, which is something that happens pretty regularly, apparently.
What's that, and who are you?
Oh man, it's a scenario 4.
Rick's way of replaying memories comes in the form of fluid, and my best guess is, while extracting the memory, Rick mapped the same proteins in Ingram cells into the fluid. So when they make contact with the brain, it's memory go time. Ingram cells are neurons which are responsible for storing memory, so it's just flooding the brain with the stuff it produced at the time it made the memory to link everything up. Kind of like an extreme version of a certain song or smell that reminds you of a specific time. Pretty neat, right? After seeing Rick invent all sorts of things, it's only natural that a kid like Morty would ask his grandpa to make him something, and one of Morty's most requested inventions is a little remote that'd save his place. Like a checkpoint in a video game so he could go back and redo decisions if he made a mistake. Kind of like this.
Sounds good. Or maybe I'll just kill you.
What?
Because I f***ing did it!
And Morty makes pretty good use of the remote.
Oh, suicide by cop. I love these.
Not sure why he wanted to commit suicide via cops, but hey, whatever floats your boat, man. He also uses the remote to try and pick up girls, and thanks to the device, he meets his soulmate. They go on date after date, Morty meets her folks, and she looks like the one. Problem is, after a whole chunk of time together, ups and downs, which includes them surviving a whole plane crash in the Arctic, by the way, Jerry finds the remote and does this. Morty spends the next 1,000 or so lives killing himself over and over and over again, thanks to him never getting a chance with the literal girl of his dreams. All thanks to Jerry, #1 dad over here. So after he gets the whole self-hatred thing out of his system, he goes back to Rick to tell him that the remote wasn't that much of a good idea after all. But Rick's about to make it 100 times worse when he tells him how this device actually works. Okay, so instead of saving place, the remote just moves our Morty into the timeline of another Morty that would have done what he's doing successfully. So like when he got killed by the cops, he's moved into a timeline where a version of him did get killed by cops. But if that's the case, what happens to the other Mortys?
Responsibility for this young man melting himself in acid. Are we here for justice? Or something else? Though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us should see salvation.
Yep, Morty must have used that thing over 1,000 times, and with every click, he killed another version of himself, making him a mass murderer. It's a good thing Rick managed to explain that. He saved me a big job there. It's even crazier to think the only reason he made it this way is because Morty was being critical of his vat of acid invention. Who knew Rick had such a shallow ego? I did. And so did you. Well, shallow egos aside, one thing we do know about Rick is that he's practically immortal. One of Rick's greatest inventions is the whole Operation Phoenix program he put into place, so if one version of him dies, there's a backup body under the garage.
Accepting.
Yeah, that's pretty
Backup.
great.
Data. Operation. Phoenix. Initiated.
He's got clone batches for the entire family, too. But for obvious reasons, I won't be showing you these floating in the tank. It's a fairly simple cloning process. A hunk of DNA is needed, a hair, a bit of saliva, or something like that. Then Rick grows a fresh clone using that DNA and stores it away for a later date. Then whenever he dies, his soul or mind or whatever is rerouted from the dead body and dropped into one of the clones. Hey, presto, brand new Rick.
Wow! Gotta admit, Morty, I didn't really fight that time.
He's no stranger to cloning random people when he needs to, either. Like when Beth asked him to clone Tommy so she could feel better about killing him.
I got a doo-doo in my butt, and I don't know what to do with the doo-doo in my butt, but I know that a father should say.
The bit of DNA needed for Tommy's clone was his severed finger, a little bit crazier than a strand of hair, but it gets the job done. Speaking of Beth, though, that's another one of Rick's cloning projects. Basically, Beth started to feel trapped in her life as a mom and a wife. So Rick gave her the chance of seeing the stars like him, but obviously that stuff is a big decision, so instead of Beth just heading out, Rick cloned her, mixed up the chambers, and sent one to Beth to go on adventures, not knowing which of them was his real daughter.
Ho, ho. Big money. Eyes on the lady. Switcheroo.
The first time we saw Rick clone himself, though, is in the episode Big Trouble in Little Sanchez, when he creates a teenage clone of himself and puts his consciousness inside.
Oh, how exactly is your old body living in there, Grandpa Rick?
Oh, you know, hyperbaric quantum fluid, that kind of thing. It preserves living tissue. Not that there was much to preserve. Look at that mummy. Ha! Ha ha!
That consciousness point is an important one because, like I touched on a second ago, while Operation Phoenix is about clones, you know, rising out of the ashes and all that, each clone isn't a version of him. They're just an empty shell, and as Rick said, he stores them in hyperbaric quantum fluid, which weirdly he also does with his enemies.
And driven to destroy ourselves by the uncertainty he creates.
Oh, no, that's extreme.
We have hyperbaric chambers that are usually used by athletes to increase their lung capacity and fitness. It's basically a more oxygen-rich atmosphere, so Rick's fluid must be mostly oxygen. The quantum part probably explains the reason why the bodies last so long without food or water and why they never age. Maybe there's some sort of cellular food within the fluid so the bodies can survive? Either way, it's probably one of his most simple inventions to understand, which is why it's so darn smart. Talking about brains, Rick has made another type of invention that swapped his brain around, but instead of putting it into an empty clone, it's designed to swap with Jerry. After a lifetime of hearing Jerry say that Rick is wasting his brain because it doesn't help Jerry do every stupid thing, he invents the Mind Swapper to show Jerry he couldn't do much better in Rick's shoes.
All that brain and you just waste it.
Hold up. I waste my brain.
Yeah, Rick. Obviously, you were born smarter than me, but if I had your brain...
If you had my... I am so sick of this born...
Rick must have created a fluid which is like the mind's version of a fingerprint, and when uploaded to any living brain, the fluid can alter the mind to become whoever's encrypted in it. So in this case, green for Jerry, blue for Rick. When the blue washes over Jerry's brain, he's suddenly got Rick's mind. Think of it as a more complex version of what we saw in Morty's Mind Blowers, but when they swap minds, being inside Jerry is too much for Rick to handle. That sounded like something you'd read on Tumblr, actually.
Right, Jerry, you can do this.
And Jerry in Rick's shoes doesn't do much better. In emergencies like this one, Rick's got a few backup options, like his AI garage, which tries to put the boys back together, but it's not going to be easy.
There goes my thirst.
It does what it can in patching them up, but it's only a temporary fix, mainly because the AI has mixed Rick's brain with Jerry's. You'll see what I mean.
What the f did you do to my body?
Your body. Jerry, your mind did that to my body using my brain.
Jerry, my mind was in this brain in your body. Pretty easy to follow.
Yeah, totally easy to follow. If you think about it like a personality shuffle, it's kind of easy to follow, but us peasants in the real world couldn't dream of doing a procedure like this. We still haven't even managed to perform a brain transplant, never mind combining two brains to make two unique ones. As for the personality shuffle, the best you're gonna get is some hypnotherapy and some mind-altering drugs, which sounds like one hell of a Friday night, by the way. Anyway, while the boys have a pretty rocky start, they soon realize that their new headspace is actually kind of cool. So much so, they jet off into space and become a crime duo called Burger and Fries. No, I'm not joking.
Hey! That's for nothing!
So are my balls.
Here's a tip, lady.
Life tastes better when you're chugging.
Their fun soon stops, though, when the news hits them that their entire family's been kidnapped by a space mob boss, and to defeat those mobsters, they need to put their heads together again. Although way more literally than you might think.
Daughter, wife, you are safe now.
Holy sh! All the positive aspects of each perfectly melded together?
Yes, I am Jariki.
Jariki saves the family before heading home with them to pack to leave for good. But on his way out, he accidentally steps on a rake, and that wakes up the memory of the real Rick and Jerry.
Morty, we're still in here. There's a memory of myself as a 30-year-old. He kept our egos intact. He saved us.
After that, Rick manages to put them both back in their own heads, but the fact Rick just has a machine capable of swapping brains and ripping his sentience out of his body just sitting in his garage is doo-doo. I meant to say bonkers. I don't know why I said. But then again, he's got all sorts of stuff sitting in there, like that memory computer of his. As we've seen so far, Rick's got quite an obsession with the mind. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's the smartest man in the universe, so it makes sense in my eyes. But over the years, kind of like his memory playing helmets, Rick's not a fan of having bad or sad memories cluttering up his big brain real estate. So he's invented something called a memory computer. It's basically a gigantic lab-grown brain that's stuffed inside regular computer housing. If you didn't notice too, Rick also uses the Morty's Mind Blower helmet and modifies it so it'll hook up to his new creation. The idea behind the invention is that he can plug the memory playing helmet into this fresh, empty brain and dump his unwanted memories in there. Literally like a living memory bank. Lab-grown brains aren't something new, we can do that, but making one big enough would be a bit of a struggle. I imagine Rick has got access to an infinitely stronger growth hormone for the brains he cooks up. Now this is Rick after all, so it's not as simple as just storing memories. He can also go into them and watch them from afar before he pulls the plug, like he does with Diane here. As for the actual computer side, once fitted into the machine, the brain is wired up to a highly sensitive engram scanner. You know, those memory neurons we mentioned a little while ago? I think Rick's tech would scan his engrams, cut the unneeded memory out of them, and paste them onto a donor engram for his brain bank. Here he's transferring that memory into his fresh brain. As for the whole going inside part, I just like to think of that as Rick's version of a system interface. You know, like how we point and click a mouse. He's created a virtual reality inside the bank. I know what you guys are thinking. I can barely run Minecraft on my computer and Rick can do all this. Or maybe I'm just projecting. Well, you gotta remember that a brain has the equivalent of 2.5 million gigabytes of RAM. I don't know how we found that out, but I'm so glad we did. So yeah, it can handle all this with ease. All this to flush his memories down the toilet. But hey, at least it works.
Dear Rick, you took the memory of Diane out of your head. You did this to be more emotionally open. Don't at me.
It's probably one of Rick's healthier inventions because sure, he should maybe think about going to therapy, but we all know how that'd end. But hey, he did what he said. He's more emotionally open now. Not sure how long that's gonna last, but he is. Out of all of Rick's inventions, the one that changed his life the most is without a doubt his portal gun. That thing was the Kickstarter into allowing Ricks to travel between dimensions.
Yeah, I'd like to order one large person with extra people, please.
White people. No. Black people. And Hispanic on half.
It's not just other dimensions you can travel to, of course. Rick's portal can have you hop home in no time, even if you're only down the street. Or, if you're too lazy to wait and pay for delivery, you can pick up your pizza in seconds.
This is closed. Are you guys sure you want pizza?
Arnaldo's isn't closed in the dimension where they didn't invent daylight saving.
Although the device is cooler than cool, I mean, we could all use a portal gun. It does have a super sad history. Basically, our Rick didn't invent the portal gun, instead another version of him did, called Rick Prime. And after inventing it, he used the gun to travel to different dimensions to find more and more Ricks, offering them this tech so they could start traveling through the cosmos themselves, making it more Rick-like. Most Ricks would bite their hand off for dimensional travel, but our Rick, C-137, declined. So Rick Prime hit back and did this. Yep, Rick Prime killed our Rick's family because he turned down the chance to join them, which is dark. After grieving the loss of his family, our Rick put on his thinking boots and realized Rick Prime is still a Rick, so if that guy can make a portal gun, so can he.
And that's how the portal gun was born. I did say it's the invention that changed his life the most, and I was not wrong there, was I? Now it's time to get into how this bad boy works, and we actually do know what powers it at least. It's something called quantum transport solution, and it's made from illegal crystals that Rick sources, but when Morty's using the gun, it's a mix of quantum transport solution and lime soda.
Its gem went missing.
Gee, that is a crazy coincidence that if I were you, probably just best left alone.
He's right. We should celebrate. Feast?
No time. Sounds pretty classic, though. Don't let me hold you up.
So the easiest way to explain how Rick's portal gun works is by talking about wormholes. Wormholes sound super complicated, and they are, but just think about it as space and time being like a sheet of paper. Bend the sheet of paper and poke a hole through the middle, and using that hole to travel from point A to point B, well, that's the wormhole. Instead of just running faster to get from point A to point B, you just change the road. Make it shorter. Rick's gun opens up a portal, which is very close to how a wormhole theoretically could work. The only difference with Rick's portal is that you have to be heavier than air to pass through. So the crystals Rick uses must be easily processed into something similar to the event horizon of a wormhole. How he invented it in his garage after Rick Prime left is another question I don't really have the answers for. Maybe he figured out that he needed some sort of ingredient, and aside from synthesizing it in his lab, Rick found those crystals at a later date as an easy concentrated version of the stuff. A bit like MSG. It was mostly lab made before kombu seaweed was discovered to produce it naturally. I think another thing to mention about this device is how quickly the portals shut behind him. Now that isn't always the case. We've seen Rick leave portals open when he wants to hurt people. But usually they close pretty quickly behind them, so there's some sort of timer he can set on the gun to keep the portal open for as long as he needs to. So it's a pretty nifty piece of tech to say the least, but I mean, taking everything into account, I think if Rick was asked, he'd swap that invention for his real family back. I didn't mean for it to get that deep just then, but I mean, I'm not wrong, I think. So, how does Rick's tech work? The answer? Very well. He's the smartest man in the universe for a reason. No task is too big for him, no task too small. If you need a new head, he's got you. You need a new house? He's got you. Heck, if you need a new plumbus, that guy will get you one. Just don't ask him about a sling. His tech is next level, and as I'm sure you can tell, super complicated. That's all the Rick and Morty madness I got for you today. But remember, if you're looking for something to binge, why not give the video on screen to click? Go on, I'll catch you over there. Thank you very much for watching.
Well, that was this guy. Good. There's a whole YouTube channel based on Dexter. What?
Take control of business fuel expenses with
What?
Fleet's Voyager Fleet Card, which is accepted at over
Makes no
97%
sense.
of fuel stations nationwide.
Where's Ryan?
You can set spending limits.
Ryan's World made his parents over $34 million at just 4 years old, but now 10 years later their entire empire is crumbling. A multi-million-dollar movie that completely flopped, being investigated by federal authorities for misleading children, and Ryan himself, now 13 years old, making it very clear he does not want to be doing this anymore. So when you look at everything his parents have done, this downfall, yeah, it feels very deserved. So let's break down how Shion and Leon Kaji built a $1 billion YouTube empire off their own son, and how their own greed slowly destroyed it. So to understand how bad things got, you have to understand how it all began, because it didn't start with greed, at least it didn't look like it. In 2015, Ryan is 3 years old and absolutely obsessed with YouTube. He's been watching channels like EvanTube HD, another channel run by a kid who unboxes toys and plays games, and he tells his mother he wants to do the same thing. His parents thought, why not? So his mother takes him to a toy store, he picks out a Lego train set, they film the whole thing, and for a while the channel grows slowly, nothing crazy, just a family having fun. And then came the video that changed everything. A giant Lightning McQueen surprise egg, packed with over 100 Disney card toys. Ryan's reaction is pure unfiltered excitement, the kind of joy that you genuinely cannot fake at 3 years old. The video goes on to accumulate over 1.2 billion views. Yes, I said that, billion. This genuinely transformed the Karji's family lives overnight. They went from a regular household in Texas into one of the biggest kid YouTube channels. And this was a very important moment right here, because at this point, Shion and Loan face a choice that every parent in their position has to face. Do you treat this as a wonderful, lucky moment that your child gets to enjoy, or do you look at these numbers, do the maths, see the potential, and start thinking about what comes next? And the Karjis made their choice pretty quickly, and took things very seriously. Within months of that video blowing up, the channel's growth became exponential. Brand deals came in, sponsorship offers, merchandise proposals, and Shion and Loan, a structural engineer and a high school chemistry teacher, made the decision to quit their jobs entirely and go all in on Ryan. On the surface, this may sound like supportive parenting, backing your kid, believing in them, but look at what they actually built, and this kind of framing falls apart very fast. They formed Sunlight Entertainment, a full production company. At its peak, the operation employed over 30 people. If you think about it, it's very crazy. 30 people on full salaries, benefits, production costs and equipment, a massive financial machine that needed constantly feeding. And there was only one person whose name was above the door, Ryan Karji, a literal child. At their peak, the Karjis were running more than 10 channels simultaneously, and across those channels they were producing up to 25 videos every single week, which if you really think about it, is kind of sad. Ryan went from being another ordinary child to a superstar. His whole house and all the rooms were gutted and converted into professional filming sets. Lighting rigs, camera equipment, props everywhere. His home stopped being a home and became a workplace, and his entire life became work. Ryan's daily life, breakfast, playtime, trips to the stores, became content. Everything he did was filmed and monetized, and at this point it started to look like Ryan wasn't enjoying the life of a child. His parents were using him as a cash cow. So by 2018, Ryan Karji was the highest paid creator on YouTube. Not the highest paid child creator, literally the most earned on the entire platform. $26 million in a single year, and he was just 7 years old. And he continued to hold that title again in 2019 and in 2020. 3 consecutive years as the highest earning person on the platform.
Dang,
and this wasn't only from YouTube. This came from the empire of products that included Walmart toy lines, Colgate toothpaste collaborations, mobile games, Macy's Thanksgiving parade balloon, and many, many more. But with all these numbers about how much money they were making started coming out, things started to become very weird. Because when you think about it, a $1 billion brand built on a child's face and a child's labor, well, there's no guarantee that this money will ever become his. Unlike child actors in Hollywood, who have had earning protections in place since California passed the Coogan Law back in 1939, child influencers had virtually no legal protection at all. Every single dollar Ryan generated legally belonged to his parents. All of it. Ryan had no trust fund being set aside and no legal guardian protecting his financial interests. Literally nothing. He was the golden goose and the cage had no laws around it. And things only continued to get worse. As the channel grew and the business scaled up, the content changed. Because what started as a kid genuinely playing with toys he loved, slowly, quietly shifted into something else entirely. His videos had sponsored segments, brand deals were sneakily added into videos, and products were placed into Ryan's hands. Toys, food items, toothpaste, games, and Ryan would play with them, react to them, endorse them. And his audience, which is of course mostly toddlers and preschoolers between the ages of 2 and 6, had absolutely no idea to understand what was happening. Think about the audience for a second. These are children who still believe in the toothpaste.
Step aside. The Hood's here to finish this. Yo soy el final!
Fairy, Santa, and so on. Children who cannot read. Children who literally look at Ryan as a kid just like them. Excited and happy and relatable, trusting him completely. When Ryan picks up a toy and says he loves it, those kids believe him. Then they go to their parents and ask for that exact toy. But the massive problem here was, these ads weren't disclosed. They were built into the play. There was no clear label, no separation between what videos were Ryan actually enjoying something and just an advertisement. And it wasn't long before critics, parents, consumer advocates, child psychologists started raising the alarm that this was not ethically right. And it was potentially illegal. So in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission and the New York Attorney General launched one of the largest digital enforcement actions in American history. The target is Google and YouTube. The charge is violating COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, by collecting personal data from children without parental consent and using that data to serve targeted advertisements. The fine was $170 million, $136 million to the FTC, and $34 million to the New York Attorney General, the largest COPPA settlement ever recorded. And it was so big because YouTube knew what they were doing. Everyone knows that these children's channels are watched primarily by young children, but rather than treating those viewers as a protected class they legally were, YouTube served them targeted ads based on behavioral tracking data, web cookies following children across the internet, personal data being harvested from kids who were barely old enough to hold a tablet, all to maximize ad revenue. The ruling forced immediate changes to the platforms. Comments were disabled across children's content, targeted advertising was severely restricted, and crucially, YouTube's recommendation algorithm was recalibrated to stop aggressively promoting kids' channels the way it had been. For the Kajis, the impact was catastrophic. Loan confirmed it herself in an interview. They lost 70% of their revenue practically overnight.
So after the target ad was removed, our revenue went down by 70%. After just that day. So
what was this day for people who don't have context?
Okay, so the FTC, I guess, prohibited the target ads for the made for kids content from YouTube after a certain point, and that the target ad it takes the big role on the YouTube, and after that point, that's the majority of the revenue, the ad revenue. So after that was taken out from the kids content, we lost revenue of 70%.
And when you think about it, this destroyed the operation of Sunlight Entertainment. They had 30 employees, multiple channels, and so many production costs. And now overnight, 2/3 of its previous income completely disappears. And this had an effect on Ryan, because this meant the financial pressure went up, which meant they had to pump out more content, take more brand deals, and do literally everything for an extra penny. And around this same time, the Kajis rebranded Ryan Toys Review to Ryan's World.
Californians work hard. They deserve leaders who work just as hard for them. Assemblymember Stephanie Wen is delivering solutions for Elk Grove on housing, good-paying jobs, and affordability. Because California deserves problem solvers who deliver real solutions.
Juicy juice.
Sway's more for life. So the bad news is there will be no more Ryan's Toys Review. But the good news is that we're still gonna make videos. Yay! We're just gonna change the channel name, and now it's gonna be called Ryan's World. We're changing the channel name because we don't just do toy videos, we do science experiments, and we do challenges like the floor is lava.
It was framed as the channel growing and evolving, but behind the scenes it was more damage control, an attempt to distance the brand from controversy and make it look less commercial. But then came issues that no rebrand or money could fix, because Ryan, he was growing up. The kids who had discovered him at 4 and 5 years old were now preteens. They'd moved on to gaming channels, to social media, and to other content that actually reflected their age. they weren't watching toy unboxings anymore, and Ryan's peers, other kids his age, weren't interested in watching a 12-year-old pretend to be excited about toys designed for 5-year-olds.
One of y'all please tell me why in the freak is Ryan World still making video? If y'all don't recognize who this dude is right here, and yes I'm saying dude, he's a grown man, I'm gonna show you something real quick. And this is him back in 2018. I remember as a kid I used to see his videos all over the place. I'm like, yo, this little kid's making a lot of money. Bro, he has 39 million subs, and back in the day he was pulling 2 billion, 1.2 billion, 400 million, 461 million. He was Mr. Beast before Mr. Beast. I recently saw this video on my timeline, and in 2025 he is still making videos. So I went on a search to figure out why. He does not want to make videos, at least from what I've heard. Apparently, bro, his parents is forcing him to make videos, and you're asking why? I'm gonna show you. Lil bro has an estimated net worth of $100 million, and this is probably not even all his money, because you know the net worth doesn't get all your money.
Comments started appearing under her videos. His voice is deeper than mine now. How is he still doing this? Former fans saying they used to be jealous of his life, and now they were grateful to be normal kids. And this continued to platforms like TikTok, where people made memes about him, which got millions of views. And here's the massive issue that Ryan's parents had created. Their entire brand, the merchandise, the partnerships, pretty much the whole channel identity, was built on a specific image, a cheerful, excitable young Ryan. But now that he's grown up, they won't let him change his content or step back and explore his own interests. No, that's too big of a financial risk. They're still gonna make him unbox toys at 13 years old, even though his audience doesn't want to see that anymore and Ryan doesn't want to do that anymore. So what did they do? Well, they pushed harder. More uploads, more recycled content. They began just reposting old videos, running live streams on repeat, and chasing whatever ad revenue was still available from the shrinking audience still tuning in. They even tried new stuff such as gaming content and educational challenges to chase Ryan's older audience, but they were all flopping, pulling a fraction of the views the old content used to generate, with commenters even pointing it out and calling it very forced and cringe. By 2023, Ryan had fallen from 1st to 17th on YouTube's highest earning list, the same list he topped for 3 years running. And everyone could see it. Ryan's world was slowly falling apart, and his parents, rather than acknowledging that, they just kept pumping out the videos. And if there's one moment that crystallizes exactly what Ryan's life looks like behind the brand, it's his podcast appearance. Ryan is the guest. He's been brought on to talk about his life, his channel, his experiences, but watch the dynamic and it becomes deeply uncomfortable very quickly.
Like, Ryan, are you going to keep making YouTube videos, given your interest to be an animator and maybe go behind the camera, like as you get older?
I think I will keep going for a while, yeah.
His parents are there and they do the vast majority of the talking, and when Ryan does speak, which was very rare, he looks at them first in a way that looks like he's asking, is this okay? Am I saying the right thing? And when he's asked whether he enjoys making content, his answer is very careful, of course looking at his parents, and not long until his parents interrupt him. But as you can probably tell by the clip I just played you, what Ryan said in that interview was that the version of his life that he enjoyed is over. He doesn't enjoy playing with toys or unboxing them anymore, and he wants to do something that normal teenagers do. Go play sports, play video games, hang out with his friends, go